We'll bring you details of that press conference later in subsequent bulletins. But let's go back to that conversation on the DSTV situation with the Communications Ministry as well as the National Communications Authority. And joining me this morning is lawyer Musah Ahmed on the legal, implications of this if the Communications Ministry or the National Communications Authority should go ahead with the revocation of the DSTV license. Well, like I said earlier, the legal issue about this is in the Electronic Communications Act, Act 775, particularly or specifically Section 13, which, spells out the requirement needed when you are supposed to revoke a license. And that under Section 13 of the Electronics Act, the NCA has the legal authority to suspend or revoke a license under certain conditions, including the failure to comply materially with the Act, regulations, or license terms. Also, disregard of lawful directions from the authority. Also, default in payment of regulatory fees, ceasing operations without notice, and issues of national security or public interest. And those are the regulations that needs to be done before, or needs to be before the National Communications Authority can revoke the license of DSTV. Well, what the issue really is concentrated on, we will focus on Clause 25, which allows the service provider to set prices freely. But the authority can regulate if necessary, especially when fines aren't enough. And it says that if a single operator dominates the market, then that means that is when the license can be revoked. Also, if there's cross-subsidization that distorts competition, or if there's evidence of anti-competitive pricing. So at least these are aspects of the law in the Electronic Communications Act, Act 775. So lawyer, with this, can high subscription prices really be a reason to revoke the license of DSTV under the law?
Thank you for having me on the show. And to start with, I would like to share a useful quotation by Martin Luther King Jr. when he said that, I quote, that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You see, the key question is whether the Minister of Communication, in his debate with DSTV, has the mandate to revoke the license of DSTV based on the grounds that they have failed to reduce the subscription fee as he has demanded them to do. We are looking at Section 13 of the Act, and we are also looking at Section 24 of the Act. Essentially, the two sections may be read together. Section 24 appears to be saying that, look, you have to provide an affordable and high-quality communication services across Ghana. That is the import of Section 24. Now, the regulator has the power to require service providers and users to help fund this universal access to be implemented in a fair and transparent way. If you look at Section 13, Section 13 is also stating the requirements to be met for revoking license. We are also looking at the general scope of the law. Now, the law is looking at competitiveness. The law is also looking at international best practices. We are also looking at free enterprise economy. We are also looking at the rule of law. We are also looking at the interests of the consumer. The minister is speaking from the angle of the consumer. In my opinion, the minister per se does not have the power to revoke the license, but I have read his language, the choice of words. He says that the National Communication Authority will be instructed, I believe, that is what he said, to take appropriate steps, including revoking the license if they fail to revoke. Now, the regulator is the National Communication Authority. The law empowers them to revoke the license under specified requirements, which is contained in Section 13. For me, I think the two of them must comply with the law. Okay. You see, the NCA must exercise its powers in accordance with Article 296 of the Constitution, which says that the use of discretionary power should not be capricious, should not be unfair, should not be injustice, and should not be arbitrary. The two of them must continue to sit down and negotiate. Although I acknowledge that the NCA has power to revoke, they could do so by finding a ground to revoke it. DSTV needs the money, they need the customers, they need the business in Ghana. If you align it with the quotation I quoted, I think they are being unfair to Ghanaians. The minister outlined several, comparisons he made from other jurisdictions like Nigeria, Eswatini, Uganda, and other places. I think Kenya also. Now, if you compare all those countries or jurisdictions to what is happening in Ghana, it appears that they are cheating Ghanaians. And if you cheat under market competition, it is tantamount to fraud. You are defrauding Ghanaians. You are not able to justify the basis for which you are charging us more. That is fraud. And fraud vitiates everything. And the minister can use the issue of fraud if they have the evidence, they have the numbers, they have the arithmetic, they have the mathematics to revoke the license if they so be. But you see, in revoking the license, you must follow due process of law. You must also consider the interests of Ghanaians, because whatever you are doing is, you say, is in the interest of Ghanaians. Is it going to be in the interest of Ghanaians if you revoke the license? Or is it going to be in the interest of Ghanaians if you continue to allow them to charge the exorbitant fees they are charging? Now, because of this balance on the scale, you are looking at, one, the interest of Ghanaians after revocation, you are looking at the interest of Ghanaians without revocation. You have to put the two together on a scale so that you can meet yourselves at a meeting point where on the scale, the interests of Ghanaians will be met. So I would advocate for caution here on the part of the minister. And then I'll also urge the DSTV to also consider favorably the minister's demand, because what they are doing is not fair, it's unfair to Ghanaians, and that could also be interpreted to be against the laws on consumer protection, which is
with the issue at hand, at least the law allows 30 days for the minister or the NCA to give prior notice to DSTV for them to also respond or allow them space to be able to correct their mistakes. I'm not sure whether that 30 days will be up by August 7, but should DSTV go to court, will there be a case against government if this 30-day period is not adhered to?
Actually, I'm not sure the minister is overriding the law. You see, what he says is that I'm giving you by 7th. If I give you by 7th and you don't meet my demand or the demands of Ghanaians, specified action will be taken or actions will be taken, including the application of the act. It is after the deadline that, because at this stage, the law has not yet been applied in.
Okay.
it hasn't been applied. So Section 13 doesn't come in at all. What is happening now has to do with policy directions, directives, demands, responses to communications between the ministry and order, which is normal. But after 7th, the law will be invoked. And when the law is invoked, then the provisions relating to the 30-day rule will apply, because notice will then be given to them to show cause why the license should not be revoked. So at this stage, I don't think we can be talking about infractions of any rights for one to go to court.
All right. Thank you very much, Ahmed Musah. He's head of Ahmed Legal Consult, giving us some insights into the legal implications of the decisions.
Thank you. There's one more thing I wanted to draw your attention to.
Right.
I have noticed that in writing the provisions of the law, you use clauses instead of sections and subsections.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to a constitution, you use clauses, you use articles and clauses. Yes. But when it comes to Act of Parliament, you use sections and subsections. Yes. So that is what I want to correct, because I've seen it across all over the media space, and which is not.
Indeed, you're right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that education there. We're grateful for your time as well on our desk.
Yes.
And that's Ahmed Musah, head of Ahmed Legal Consult.